Hey guys, and welcome to my channel where I'll be posting review and commentary videos about BL series or boys love series. I was planning on making my first video on how I got into BL and what my first BL series was, spoiler, Addicted and Advance Bravely, but I decided to make my first video on TharnType the sequel. I'll be posting my Addicted/Advance video later on. So for the first video, I'm reviewing the first 6 episodes of TharnType, 7 Years of Love, and there's going to be spoilers. We start off the episodes with TharnType living a romantically happy life, having been together for 7 years, with Type working in the physical medicine field while Tharn in music composing. Of course, we see their sweet and soft moments, but also their very steamy scenes, like that shower scene in episode 1. Are you kidding me? The way Mugolf were so in sync with each other while acting, the way Tharn was whispering in Type's ears, the way he was so soft-spoken with him, the way he was overall a softie for Type, and the way he carried him under the shower. As a single hetero, I am tired of the gays. Like some of us single, show us some respect. Anyways. So, they start off being all lovey-dovey and all that, God, I'm so single, and then we have Techno being his usual chatty self, and then we have Champ who owns a restaurant, Champ in an apron, hello. We also have Tharn's older brother Thorn announcing that he's proposing to his girlfriend. Guess we'll have a hetero couple to balance out the 3 gay ones, though I thought he might be with Tharn's ex, San. A new couple is Tharn and Type's new neighbors Cir and Fagun, who remind me so much of the cute dynamic between Dean Farm and Inkhorn from without the tragic storyline. They are such a cute couple, with Cir being a possessive loving top and Fagun being a small cute bean. And of course we have Fayat showing up, being a grumpy rude little shit, who is very good at basketball, being the captain of the team. The catalyst of episode 1 is the fact that Tharn wants to get married to Type, while Type isn't really sold on the idea. Tharn tells Type that he wants to marry him, while Type is a 100% against it, and of course they have a fight over it. Episode 2 we start off with Type trying to make up with Tharn and ease the waters with him as he sees Tharn upset over the marriage thing. Tharn is still upset and gives Type the cold shoulder. Type of course can't take it anymore and lashes out at Tharn, who in turn lashes out back, and they go to bed angry, with Type sleeping on the couch. At least they're consistent with their fighting. In the morning, as a form of peace offering, Tharn tries to cook breakfast for Type, and of course he fails miserable, and actually burns himself. Type wakes up at the noise and to keep Tharn away from any form of food making, and gets worried when Tharn burned himself. Type is so soft in this scene it killed me. Later on, Fayat has an accident while playing basketball and hurts his knee. He goes to the hospital and is assigned to Dr. Kunpol, who used to be Champ's roommate in college and will become Champ's love interest. Doctor later refers Fayat to Type for physical therapy. Next up, we have Type visiting the bar where Tharn still plays in every now and then, and of course Tharn plays the guitar and sings a romantic song for Type, and naturally it results in a hot makeout session in the bar's public bathroom and later on continuing in their car. The disrespect. The disrespect, I tell you. Sigh, like the chemistry between Mugolf this season is even much more sizzling than season 1, and I'm here like have mercy on US singles. What I didn't like about the car scene is how they integrated the Techno/Champ scene into the TharnType car sex scene. Like, what was the reason? Ugh. Later on, Champ and the Doc cross paths in the hospital and sparks fly between them, like they looked so cute together. And then we have Type being summoned to his superior's office, who apparently has a grudge against Type. Don't know if it's because he has a thing for him or because he thinks the nurses are infatuated with him and he's jealous, but he's being a major douchebag to Type, and he's having his minion watching and following Type around, and as always, Type is trying his best to keep his temper in check. And as a result, he vents to Champ, the Doc, and Techno, and then gets drunk. Techno takes him back home to Tharn, and then Techno and Tharn have a little talk about Tharn proposing to Type, and Techno decides to help Tharn. The episode ends with Type and Fayat meeting in the hospital, with Fayat being a rude spoiled brat and Type becoming his physical therapist and telling him what's good. Have to admit though, despite Fayat being an annoyance, the actor first is actually so cute. Episode 3 we start off with Fayat being upset that he can't play basketball because of his knee, and his friends calling Fayat's friend Leo, who's in Italy for school. Leo is actually the actor J.A. who played Sin in Leo is apparently in love with Fayat, and Fayat either he doesn't see it, or he does and doesn't care. Next up we once again have Tharn and Type being cutsy and lovey-dovey, and I am tired, I'm gonna be tired a lot with them too. Then we have Doc and Champ text flirting and agreeing to meet for dinner, and all those gay couples are making me feel so goddamn single, I hate it here. And poor Techno goes with them, and like in season 1 with Tharn and Type, he was third-wheeling Doc and Champ as they flirted while they ate, sigh. Later on, we realize that Fayat is a D-juggler, he's having dinner with a date while texting another, or checking out Type, like my dude, have some respect for your date at least, grr. Next up, Thorn proposes to his girlfriend, and Tharn is obviously upset because Type was unable to attend because of work, and also because his brother's engagement reminded him or his problem with Type and marriage. The next scene, Type goes back home and consoles Tharn for the whole marriage thing, telling him that they're good the way they are, and once again they're lovey-dovey, grr. Later, Type and Fayat bump into each other in the hospital, and Fayat is once again being a brat. Type lands it to him and Fayat is rightfully chastised and enamored with Type. It's the start of Fayat's infatuation with Type, especially after Type massages Fayat's leg and Fayat asks for his line number and Type gives it to him as a form of doctor/patient connection, but of course Fayat will use it as a flirting connection. After, Leo returns and catches up with Fayat. Leo is obviously distraught and worried about Fayat, and it's apparent that he loves Fayat. Fayat on the other hand is being bratty and annoying and dismissive of Leo's worries. Next scene, Tharn is shopping for wedding rings, when he's ambushed by his brother's social climbing secretary who wanted to snatch up Thorn but couldn't, and now has her eyes on Tharn. The thing is, she doesn't know he's in a relationship or that he's gay because him and Type haven't told anyone outside of their families and friends, of course because Type isn't comfortable with it. Meanwhile, Techno sees Tharn and the secretary named Nana and immediately thinks Tharn is cheating on Type, sigh, like Tharn is madly in love with Type, and he's gay not bi, so he can't be attracted to women. The episode ends with Leo and Fayat having a cute cuddling session on the couch, and I'm both jealous and confused. How they were in that scene is not how friends spend time, with Fayat lying in Leo's arms hugging him tightly. Like, stop making all of US gays and straights single, God. Episode 4 starts off with Tharn once again trying to bake a cake for Type, wanting to do something romantic for Type on his day off, and of course he makes a mess of the kitchen. Type stops him and tells him not to bother, but when he sees Tharn insisting on it, he seduces Tharn with spreading whipped cream over his lips, giving Tharn an invitation to, as Revel would say, fertilize him. Tehi, and my single ass over here, like, have mercy. First the dishwashing scene in episode 1 and now this? I hate it here. Also, you'll notice me referencing Revel a lot in my reviews, so be warned, hehe. Then we have a cute scene between Fayat and Leo, with Fayat being a cute annoying brat and Leo being a Fayat simp and agreeing to shopping with Fayat. Later once again, Tharn and Type are in bed being all cozy after a rumble in the sheets, which they didn't show. Type has his head on Tharn's titties and then he kisses it, like imagine kissing Mew's titty, can't relate. They go out to lunch and shopping afterward, and while having lunch, Tharn once again opens the subject of marriage and they talk about his brother Thorn's engagement, since Tharn took Type to the restaurant where Thorn proposed, and this time we see Type kind of not being opposed to the idea, smiling when Tharn touched his left ring finger and telling him he wants him to wear his ring in the future. Type has aversion towards marriage, but I believe he's slowly getting used to the idea, baby steps. They later go shopping, with Tharn going to their car to put things away. That's when Type comes across Fayat and Leo. Fayat is an excited puppy seeing Type. I mean, who wouldn't? It's Type. Leo, however, is immediately suspicious and aloof toward Type, feeling him as a threat to his relationship with Fayat. This whole time though, Type is distant and cold, only responding to Fayat regarding his knee. Tharn sees them and gets suspicious and jealous, as usual, but Type shuts him down and tells him to stop being stupid. Next, Champ and Doc have a cute scene where Doc is awkward and shy in front of Champ, and I'm living for it. Moreover, Tharn and Thorn are conducting some business in their dad's company and they have a discussion regarding Type and his aversion to marriage. Tharn is upset about it, but Thorn reminds him that Type is worried for him and his family since they're rich people with a large business, and that Type fears that the homophobia would affect Tharn's dad's business, which is understandable. Cut to the scene of the annoying secretary Nana, bringing Tharn biscuits and tea, trying to ensnare him, All the while Tharn is ignoring her while Thorn is kicking her out because she entered without permission. Later Type sees Nana posting on a post Tharn made on IG and he starts getting suspicious, becoming in a bad mood. It doesn't help that when he went to lunch with Techno, Techno tells him that he thinks Tharn is cheating and tells him what he saw at the mall. Type is understandably upset and stalks Tharn's IG for more info. Next scene, Leo and Fayat are at the gym with Fayat texting Type and Leo playing basketball and looking annoyed at Fayat ignoring him, and let me just say, Leo in a basketball shirt? Yes please, them biceps though. The episode ends with that annoying Putanana trying to meet up with Tharn, but Type intercepts the text and goes to meet her instead. Episode 5. The episode starts with Tharn catching Type red-handed with telling Nana where to shove it, and holy shit did Type put her in her place. He was like, Tharn is my man and you ain't getting him, bitch. His sass, his demeanor, and his overall interaction with her. Yes, he was a total daddy. I love it when men or women stake their claim to their significant others. It's totally sexy. Tharn of course is over the moon with what Type did and is so happy with how things went, and again, they make me feel single with being all soft with each other. I hate it here. We later find out that Tharn told Techno to tell Type about Nana because he wanted Type to get jealous. Techno at first refused, but after Tharn bribed him with food, he was game, but not before telling Tharn that if Type found out he was cheating, he'd castrate him. And Tharn, this bitch, told him that Type would never slice up his daily necessity. Are you kidding me? I'm so tired of them. Later on, Fayat visits Type at the hospital with food and snacks, and the bitch actually looks so cute it's making it hard for me to hate him. Ugh. He's like a little puppy. The audacity. And once again, Type's asshole boss is annoying him, and me, by not accepting Type's vacation demand to visit his family in the holidays, spewing bullshit like they are short-staffed and whatnot. Keep in mind that all the other doctors had their vacations approved of except for Type. Grr. He's also giving Type work to do, that's not of his department or specialty, simply to mess with him. Dude's literally abusing his power, knowing full well that Type can't do anything about it cause he's new and his contract is for a whole year, which he finished half of it. Please say CK. Next up we have Leo and Fayat having dinner with their friends, who clearly notice that there's something going on between them, but Fayat is still glued to his phone, texting Type. When Type goes back home, he comes across Fagun and the later invites him for some hot chocolate. Fagun is so cute in this scene, talking to Type and making him feel at home, which in turn makes Type confide into him about his troubles at work. CIR returns home to see Type and Fagun together and his possessiveness jumps to a 100, even though they're just talking, like my dude, chill. After Fagun texts Tharn to look after Type, Tharn flies back home to check up on Type and make sure he's okay. They share a sweet soft moment together that as always makes me feel single, like make it stop please. Our next couple is Champ and Doc and they too are sharing lunch at Champ's restaurant and they too are being all cute and fluffy and I am tired of this show. I'm gonna sound like a broken record reviewing this damn series. Later, Type and Doc have a conversation about Champ and Type encourages Doc to make the first move since Champ is kinda stupid when it comes to romance. Doc also finds out about Type's overly stacked work and calls his uncle, who's probably the hospital owner or something, and asks him to have Type's boss lay off of him, which leads to Type's boss being an asshole and insinuating that Type is using nepotism to jump up the ranks, and complaining to other people about his job. Type is angry and when he goes home, he takes it out on Tharn, who takes it in stride and tries to make Type feel better by making him coffee. Type apologizes and they share a soft moment. Episode 6 starts with Tharn being in work, looking upset because of the fact that Type doesn't want them to go public to everyone, aka marriage, and the fact that he's so possessive of his love for Type that he wants to basically shout out his love for Type for everyone to see. And when some people might see this as toxic, I actually don't. I understand how Type is still a bit uncomfy regarding marriage, but I'd love for someone to love me that much as Tharn loves Type. That's probably my Scorpio talking. Tehi. Later on, Type's boss assigns him to more work that's outside of his jurisdiction and I really don't know what's his deal, this bastard. Leave Type alone. Tharn calls Type to ask to pick him up after work, but Type shuts him down and says it's not necessary. Tharn is upset but lets it go and goes home. Once again, Doc visits Type, they talk, and Type tells him about his douchebag boss when Doc asks him about his work. Later, Doc calls his uncle again and asks him to alleviate Type's workload. And look, I know that Doc has good intentions and wants to help Type, but what he's doing is actually making it worse for Type and making his boss become more aggressive in his prejudice against Type. He goes on a dinner date with Champ and unloads on him his worries for Type. Then they get all lovey-dovey again and I'm just so tired of the gays. Type returns home late and after his shower, he gets into bed beside a sleeping Tharn, who immediately spoons Type and I'm so single I hate it. When Tharn drives Type to work they have another argument because Tharn wants to pick him up when Type is annoyed and frustrated because of work and doesn't want Tharn to pick him up. I'm on both their sides here. Tharn misses Type and wants to spend more time with him, while Type is angry, tired, and upset because of work and his boss and wants to just alleviate the pressure he's under. It's actually a good representation of long relationships falling under the pressure of real life and work life. It's not always sunshine and rainbows of romance 24/7. And Jesus Christ, I saw Type punching his boss in the trailer. When will it happen? Because once again his boss dunked more unnecessary work on Type's shoulders, taking advantage of his position as his boss, and just watching it is giving me neck pains, like he's actually threatening with firing Type if he doesn't do as he's told. Are you kidding me? If this isn't abuse of power, I don't know what is, and Type is at the end of his rope. It's so obvious, and if his boss isn't careful, he's gonna get himself a new job. Type is infuriated and he locks himself up in his office, all the while Fiat, who went to visit Type, is trying to talk to him to no avail. He waited the whole day for Type and when Type shut him down, Fiat ran after him and fell on his hurt knee. Type, seeing this, rushed to help Fiat and eventually they go to have some coffee. Fiat sees how upset Type is and strikes up conversation with Type, which results in the latter to vent his frustrations and anger. Next scene, Type makes up with Tharn by his Og method of offering him Sprite. For those who forgot, Sprite is Tharn's favorite drink, and a red rose. They make up, have another soft scene together that once again makes me feel single. I swear K-dramas and BLS are the bane of my existence. Next up, we have Leo informing Fiat that Type already has a boyfriend and Fiat being a brat and insisting on pursuing Type nonetheless. This angers Leo, who's madly in love with Fiat and kicks him out of his house. Upset and crying, Fiat leaves but falls down the stairs and continues crying. Now this scene might be a little confusing to some, but I believe that Fiat is also in love with Leo, but thinks that Leo sees him as only a friend, and Fiat, being the immature child that he was, puts his attention on Type because it's a form of distraction from his unrequited feelings towards Leo. Before Type, Fiat had basketball and Leo out of the country to distract him from his feelings for Leo, but now that Fiat can't play anymore, and the fact that Leo is back and with Fiat 24/7, I believe it's affected him to the extreme that he decided to become irresponsible in his pursuit of Type, which will eventually blow up in everyone's faces. We end the episode with Tharn calling Type up to the roof and we see the lit up tent from the trailer, and can we just take a moment to appreciate how romantic Tharn is, like please I want that for me too, in the famous words of Revolson all. Episode 7 preview. From the preview, we find out that Tharn and Type's relationship will be revealed in Type's workplace when Type kisses Tharn as they're in the car when Tharn drives him to work. Also, I believe that the stupid boss will get punched by Type in this episode because he had the audacity to imply that Tharn and Type are diseased because they're gay. This disgusting boss is either a closeted gay or a homophobe and I hate him. So, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. My next review will be on Manner of Death, so make sure to hit the notification bell to be notified. Also don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Goodbye.